have some fun. We'll take good care of you. Wisdom, it's time to play. Magic the Gathering on its way. Join Mom and all the rest. Have some laid back fun and some chess. To help you have fun is our pledge. Standing on a gamer's ledge. Twitch.tv/gamersledge. Standing on a gamer's ledge. Twitch.tv/gamersledge. Standing on a gamer's ledge. Come on and join some friendly games. We all wanna get wiser. Test your deck and combo play. You'll find we're a lot nicer. Bring the deck for fun magic play. This is totally the right way. To help you have fun is our pledge.
Greetings and salutations, Ledge ladies and gentlemen, fluid friends of any persuasion. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Welcome to Gamersledge. I'm one of your hosts, Mark. Joining me is Matt, right there. Nope, right there. Hi, Matt.
There. Hi.
Yes.
Hi. How's it going? Let's see, which way is it working? Okay, it's working right for me.
It's that way. Yeah, it's the correct way for me, actually. We are here for Gamersledge Podcast, Season 5, Episode 382.
382.
Named after Kokeshi Ken, Quick Ketchup. Because we haven't had a quick ketchup in a while. And he puts ketchup on steak. And it's not right. But anyways, it's a fireside chat. Dave is off
recuperating,
doing things like normal people. Meanwhile, it's been a day. I'm not feeling the greatest. So we're just going to make this a real quick thing. Just quick. We haven't, it's been since not E3 was the last podcast episode, which is all my fault because I have been unmotivated many times and just wanting to do other things, and that's not how that should work, but that's how it has worked. And so like there's only really 2 or 3 things that I can think of that I want to talk about. Once Human came out. It is not a perfect game. I love it to death.
Really? You're amazed? Not a perfect game? Really?
I mean, it's not perfect because, like, I had literally one of my responses to the devs at one point on Twitter was, you must have a person who is in charge of the vision of this game. That person needs a translator and needs to start talking now. It's a really, like, there are just a lot of really weird choices that they've made. And I don't think it boils down to Eastern versus Western design philosophies. They're just weird choices. Like, for one, having a 6-week season.
Yeah, that's just weird.
And
then the whole, you like put it in your backpack and then you can pay for it with in-game currency. That whole thing is weird.
Yeah, so I get it now that we've done it once, but it's still like, because one of my main gripes with season 1, that the first six weeks that we did, was you didn't earn enough currency to earn all the seasonal stuff. And I'm like, there's people who have jobs that require them to work 80 hours a week, or, military personnel, or, people who can't play all the time. They're never going to get any of this stuff. If you finish all of the season goals for the season, like, how do I say this? There's like 5 pages of season goals every week. Okay. You don't have to do them all. But if you do enough of them, there are 1 to 3 stars ranking system. Okay, so getting X, each one is worth X number of points. The easy ones are worth less, the harder ones are worth more. But then when you hit a certain numerical threshold, that's 1 star. And then when you hit a second numerical threshold, that's 2 stars. And then so forth to 3 stars total. That gives you the main currency of the game that I will say you can't. It is not pay to win. That is a good thing. You can't get any of these currencies by shelling out money. You have to play the game.
Okay.
So you get the main currency by getting the 1, 2, and 3 stars. But if somebody completes all 5 weeks worth of 3 stars, my contention was they should get everything. Right. Not if you filled out the battle pass, you've gotten all your rewards, basically. Right. So what I understand now is that was never the plan. It was just never communicated, because you're going to run these seasons more than once in most circumstances. Because now we thought when our server ended, we would have to go to PvP and do their stuff for the next 6 weeks, because we didn't think there was going to be a PvE season from how they explained it. No, we had the choice to actually repeat the season in the hard server if we wanted to, or in a normal server. And so we did that. And of course, now I already have enough points to buy all the stuff that I missed out on. So in that way, it's like a roguelike, I guess, in some ways is that's how they would describe it. And I guess in some ways it is, but
kind of almost a prestige system, kind of like, except you didn't necessarily accomplish enough to do it. But
the problem I have with it is that it's a removal process instead of an additive process, and it should be additive, right? So like, if I get to level 50 with my character, then I should be level 50 when I start the new season, not have to start over at level 1, blah, 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 yada, yada. Hi, Jimmy Julius. Welcome in, my friend. So that's kind of like, I don't mind repeating the content. The problem is like, I didn't finish all of it in the first place. So now I know I'm not going to finish all of it again now, because it's like, I have no impetus to, so I don't know what I'm going to, so we're doing this until this one ends. And then I'm not sure, because this is again, part of the problem is they have a roadmap, but they haven't given us when the roadmap is. It's just a month of October for the next PvE thing. So I'm guessing more than likely we will end up doing another 6-week one of these, not on hard, because hard's not worth it. Now that we've done it, it's just more annoying than it is hard, in that it like cranks up the food and water.
Bullet sponge.
No, and bullet sponge. Yes, that too. But you have to constantly be eating and drinking, which means you got to dedicate resources to that and blah, blah, blah. I don't care. So
just becomes more of a resource management game then.
Yeah, a little bit. But at the same time, we have a lot more knowledge going into this. So we've structured it in a much better way for the hive, for the group of us that are playing together.
So going in cold to hard would probably be very stressful, but having played it in normal, then going into hard, you've got a pretty good handle on how to deal with it.
To be honest, if you're playing solo, yes, it would be really hard, so to speak. If you're playing with friends, not at all. Like, because this is the other thing, right? The main thing you got to do is eat and drink. You don't have to do that. You get a couple minor penalties, but it's not like you can't play the game. It's not like you die if you don't eat or drink. It just means that you can't run as fast and you can't carry as much stuff.
So, yes, inconvenient, but not game breaking.
Correct. And, you get 8% more rewards in hard than you do the normal server. So after this, I'm convinced I'll probably never touch hard again. And that's fine.
Yeah,
I don't think anybody else.
Unless they rescale
it and do something cool, but I don't think they're going to. So that's the general consensus of it. Now, does that mean that the game's not fun? No, it's stupid fun. And like I find myself wanting to play it every single day. I've not been able to lately, which has sucked because it is a game that they give you a week to do a bunch of goals. And if you don't get those done, then it's on to the next week's goals. And, we found last season, there's this new mode that they introduced called Prime Wars. And the basic gist is you 40 people get together and try and take out a tough boss. Well,
so raid-ish kind of thing.
Yeah, it's super raid light. You get to build defensive things. There's a thing that they're going towards and you got to stop them from getting there and destroying it. That's it. Okay, but with 40 people, lag on server's been really bad. So it's really, but we've kind of through trial and error of the first season, we now know what to do. But the problem in the first season was that we didn't do it, right? We were focusing on the seasonal goals, getting those done. By the time we finished everything, it was week 4 or 5, which is the last week of content. Week 6 is when you start signing up for new servers. So by then, what we didn't realize is that you have to do the easy ones first and get the max score on it to unlock the hards. Then same thing to do the medium, then hard, then hard, then pro, then nightmare. And so if you didn't get those when everybody was running the first ones over and over and over again, you were in essence locked out of the activity unless you had enough friends or could get enough people to do it. We managed to do it in the last week. We managed to get enough people together to actually get all of our guys through, at least through the mediums, I think. But this week we're like, okay, we got to go do this now before we get locked out because it's just easier to teleport in and do it and get it done. And there are reasons to do it, like that main currency that it gives you to buy better weapons and armor and stuff. So the gameplay loop is fun. Like if I was going to give it a score, I'd probably say an 8. I already have actually. Let me see how many hours I have logged into the actual launch because I don't know. I have 301 hours logged into the actual game, which has only been out
7 weeks.
In 7 weeks. So, like I said, I've been playing this game a lot. It is constantly on my mind.
I'm calculator. How many did you say? 300 now?
301.8 hours.
Okay. 301 divided by 21. That's 14 hours a day.
Mm-mm.
Oh, no, wait a minute. No, I did that wrong. I did that wrong.
Yeah, I did that wrong. There's no way.
I did that wrong.
There's no way.
I did that wrong. Never mind. No. 7 times 7, 49. Okay, that's still 6 hours a day. That's almost a full-time job.
The last 2 weeks I have 61 hours in it. So I mean, there's a lot to do. That's the good side, right? Like it's never like I log on and I'm like, there's just nothing to do today. That's never the case. So that's a good sign in my opinion. Now that doesn't mean I always like the stuff that we have to do, but that's why I'd say I'd give it like an 8. It's a good game. The gameplay loop is fun. It has a long way to go, but at the same time, what's there is pretty good. Is it perfect? No. Does Jimmy Julius get mad at the building every 4.2 seconds? Yes. Because for one reason or another, that one corner roof piece just will not go into place like it should. You know, that's the type of stuff that everybody deals with, but
sounds like me playing No Man's Sky. It's like, just get in the...
Yeah, no, he's constantly swearing at the system all the time. But the fact is, you can make some really cool houses if people want to put the time and effort into it. And they have released enough cosmetics to make things really cool. And the stuff you get from the season can help make your house look really cool. This season, I have gone no aesthetics whatsoever. Small, tiny, functional, and that's it. Last time I built for me an aesthetics house, which I never do, but It was a pretty badass house. Now it wasn't as badass as Mr. Yimmy Julius over there, who has some kind of architecture bug in him, but it was good.
Is he an archie and I just didn't know it?
He's not like by trade, but he is by execution in the game. I'll tell you that much. It's
fair enough. Fair enough.
So
he spent a lot of time in Darby's Dreamhouse Builder. I'm guessing that's probably what happened.
Or Sims, I don't know, but yeah. It's a fun game. I really like it. They just instituted a new rule that I think is totally dumb, which is that if a server is more than 2 weeks into its seasons cycle, you cannot invite people to join you.
Really?
Yeah. Because they're like, well, then people will be too far behind, which is true. But at the same time, man, they make it really hard to play with your friends.
Yeah. I mean, if you're willing to carry somebody, I mean, why not? You know?
That's the other thing, right? Is like every 6 weeks, I have to remake the guild.
That's weird. Like, why can't you just yeah, like you said, there's just some really odd, like half-baked, really, not quite there.
Yeah, it's like I kind of see where they're going with it, but man, their communication has been not great. I understand that they're a small team. Okay, but you've been through enough betas, you've been through enough of the launch of the game at this point that you should have someone that can communicate. This is how a player plays the game. And I get what the rough idea is. You have this character that floats between seasons and can take their stuff. The problem that with the taking the stuff over that you mentioned before is there was like no information on it. None.
Right.
We didn't know how much stuff was going to cost. So I built 3 versions of every gun I owned. I built 3 versions of the armor because different levels allow you to use different tiers of armor. And so I built all 3 tiers because I didn't know how much we were going to be able to bring in or whatnot. Well, it turns out
level of Biet and stuff.
You can bring in 1 gun, 1 set of armor, and like 5 deviants, and you're done. Ammo was too expensive, and it also didn't tell us what the criteria was for. So there's 35 slots for each type of thing that it will go into your backpack that you can then bring into the new season. But it didn't tell us what the sorting or priority criteria for that stuff was. So my ammo that I had in a box overwrote the stuff I had on my person in the 35 things. So this season, I now know destroy everything except what I want to bring with me. And so it's like, on the one hand, it's really frustrating. On the other hand, it's fun because it's uncharted territory and we get to do it. But at the same time, I'm still trying to figure out how to coordinate all the people we want to play with together to get to the servers together. It was a mess. We got it done, but it definitely was not smooth or non-hair pulling out.
the way you're talking about it, it sounds a lot like the No Man's Sky launch. You know, like there's ideas here, there's bits here, but they're just not all quite connected in the way you would expect them to be.
What's the frustrating part is the game is actually pretty done. Like it's almost all there. It's just
it's all the stuff around it.
It's all the stuff around it, and the processes for moving from one season to the other that's been just like completely in the dark, and it's just caused a lot of stress.
Especially if they're going to go that quick, right? If they were going to be like 8 week seasons, or 9 week seasons or something.
So
like that.
they've said that they are now working on a forever scenario, but then that raises its own set of questions. Like, if I transfer into the forever scenario, am I trapped there forever? Right? Am I never going to be able to experience the other shorter seasonal content? They just need to rework this whole system, put everybody into a server that they can live on forever, and then allow them to additively experience this other content rather than removing your level, removing your, if it's a different map, okay, map exploration makes sense to reset. But I still don't understand why they're taking us back to level 1 to start the new seasonal stuff. It invalidates all the work we did in the first season. And even Crow and Jimmy have said, sometimes I'm feeling unmotivated to redo this stuff. And I get that. I don't have that problem because I'm sick in the head like that, I guess, because I'm still making forward progress in getting stuff I need or resources I need that will carry over to the next season that will hopefully let me increase my build out better, etc. Anyways, I said I didn't want to make this a long podcast. This has been far longer than I was intending to talk about once even. I like the game. If people want to play,
this has been a significant part of your last 7 weeks. So it makes sense that this would be a fairly hefty chunk.
The second thing is Deadpool Wolverine. Like, I gave it a 9 point. I did give it a little higher initially. I'd say I gave it a 9.5 out of 10.
Okay. I give it an 8.5.
I feel like
way better than I thought it was going to be.
I feel like Deadpool is not, how do I say that? In Deadpool 1 and 2, Deadpool was the relatable, like you understood his motivations for everything, and it was clear, and he was the emotional center of the movie. He was not in this one. That's not to say there wasn't that. That was definitely Wolverine in this, and that worked very well. If it hadn't, I think the movie would have been much worse. But at the same time, I don't know. I felt like all the other characters were squandered and not used for the majority. And even the whole thing about the two main characters didn't make much sense to me. So there were definitely some plot things that were.
It was a weak vehicle for a fun ride, is what I think. Right? It just they had all the pieces there. They kind of didn't really give it a good reason for all happening, right? I mean, it was kind of just, okay, here's a reason. And the one thing I appreciate is, especially after watching it, is that they resisted the urge to call it Deadpool versus Wolverine, like they do in the comics for everything.
Yeah.
Because I can see somebody's temptation to do that, right? And thank God they didn't. But
I think for his official entry into the MCU, there really wasn't much MCU, which made me sad. I didn't like it implies
that he's actually just not going to be MCU. He's just part of the multiverse, right? Spoilers, sorry.
Yeah. My other issue was the vehicle in which they used to get him into the multiverse in the MCU did not feel like a faithful representation to me of the source material established in the television show in which it was launched in.
Yeah, I mean, they did at least have
they had a
touch character.
Yeah, they had a tie over
a touch character, but but no mention of like things that you would have thought would have been mentioned or at least somehow referred,
right?
Implied, something.
It was just like really,
I mean, the one human villain that was in there was done great.
Yeah.
That was a great version of that character. I honestly don't like that character very much in the comics.
No,
This
I don't
version
like. I don't like her
much
either. Yeah.
better.
I think I managed to go in completely spoiler free, so all of the surprises were actually surprises to me.
Most of them were surprises for me. There were a couple of things like the intro sequence had gotten spoiled for me, but that is one of the best. Barring the first Deadpool intro sequence, maybe that is one of the best intro sequences in a movie, in a comic book movie.
I very much appreciated that sense of humor. That's where I will go with that.
I did miss the credits being the way they were in Deadpool 1 and 2 though, because they did actual real credits during the opening sequence instead of, the sarcastic, snarky little whatevers. But
yeah,
anytime you can time music and combat together like that is just fun. Yeah, it's just fun, right? Just fun. It's
especially when you're wielding what he was wielding.
Yes.
So yeah, I mean, I thought it was like very strong, but not perfect. I have mellowed on it a little bit with time, but I still think like it's better than some of the stuff we've gotten.
It's better than 2, to be honest. It's better than Deadpool 2. We watched Deadpool 1 and 2 going up to this because, my wife didn't really remember them, and there were a couple other things. Somebody had never seen Deadpool 2, I think my daughter. So, we sat down and watched both of them. Deadpool 1's still a fun ride. Deadpool 2, oh my gosh, the CG in that was terrible. The pacing and the script was just like, it was just not. I remembered not enjoying it, but it was not. I mean, it wasn't unenjoyable, but it wasn't good. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, I have things that I want to discuss spoilery with you at some point, especially about the end of 2 and what he did and why that wouldn't have marked him for the.
Yeah, why that was just completely.
Yeah, that's totally okay, but yeah. Anyways, yeah. So that's that. The third thing is I've been watching a grip of anime. I have almost exhausted Crunchyroll. Like if it were not
in the meantime, you're doing a full-time job of playing a game and just watching all the anime. I really don't understand your life.
I don't sleep a lot. Just some.
Either, man. 6 hours a night, not a good night.
Yeah, so that's if it wasn't for the weekly stuff coming out right now, I wouldn't keep my subscription there. Because I'm literally there's nothing left that I have found on Crunchyroll that I have a desire to watch. The new crops.
I still haven't watched the last season of Demon Slayer yet. I'm just like,
yeah, well, that's one thing I don't have to worry about because I don't like it.
You are so broken, my friend.
I totally get it. I don't know why, but it does nothing for me. And the more I've watched I've quit My Hero for good.
Oh, that's fair. That's fair. I quit after 4 episodes. So.
I just couldn't.
I get why my kids like it, and I don't mind watching like watching it in little blurps.
You mean 4 seasons or 4 episodes?
4 episodes.
Oh, okay.
Literally 4 episodes.
Yeah, no, right? I made it to the last season, the season that's airing now, and I've just noped out of it. I'm so bored, and it's that thing.
Yeah, last I saw, Deku was being all edge lordy, and that was the last thing I saw. So
it's that same. Like I hate the animes that have 3 minutes of recap of what happened in the last episode, then 2 to 3 minutes of intro, then you have maybe 15 minutes of an episode, and at least 3 minutes of that episode are contained with flashbacks from previous episodes of the exact same footage that you watched in those. And then there is like a 5-minute ending sequence / previews for the next episode. It's like,
that show needs a Kai version badly. It really needs a streamlined, like, okay, we understand you're going to binge this now. We don't have to remind you about things that happened 2 seasons ago because you're going to have just watched them. So let's strip out all the referential stuff and just go.
I'm trying to think if Undead Unluck is the one I'm thinking of. I think it might be, which is actually inspired by a Japanese writer's books, if it's the one I'm thinking of. And it's pretty dark. But they make jokes about it. But it is still kind of like really dark. Though there's been a couple new isekai ones that are like dark isekai. Like what was the one we were all about last season? Summer or spring versions.
The Friren
was good, one? But no, the other one about the guy who was like rank E. He like
solo leveling.
So there's a new one like that, but it's his entire class gets taken to the isekai world, and he's the weakest one, and so the goddess singles him out and exiles him to a dungeon where he will die for sure. Mm-hmm. And he's super, like, he actually, it's a pure revenge tale of him wanting to kill this goddess. And it's really shaping up to be really good. I would say on the same level as Solo Leveling, like terms of good. So,
which surprised the crap out of me because I was sure a couple episodes in I was going to be ditching that, and it all of a sudden just hooked me all the way to the end. I'm like, wow, it's over already. Jeez.
I'm trying to think of what the name of this one is. I'm going to have to pull up Crunchyroll just so I can tell you.
Yeah, I've been very bad on anime lately. I've been not keeping up on anything.
I like it because it's like, 23 minutes and it's done kind of thing. Yeah. That's the only reason I have not.
Yeah, I've been doing a lot
TV.
more reading, trying to catch up on comics and reading and stuff. So
okay, the strongest magician. This is not it. The strongest magician in the Demon Lord's army was a human. That's been good. Where is my? Did it not let me sign in? Hold on, I gotta log in. Oh, Tower of God. Let me talk about this one super quick. You know how I hate spoilers, right?
Mm.
I'm just going to tell you now. Watch it. It's good, but don't read the synopsis for the show. Gives away the entire plot of season 1 in the synopsis of the show.
Oh,
so dumb. But that being said, it is good, and I've pushed on to season 2, and I have actually been very happy with it. So Tower of God, where's my watch list? Sorry, sometimes the app doesn't.
Oh, no, Crunchyroll's app is absolute trash.
Oh, did I sign in with the wrong account? No.
Well, yes, they finally have profiles. Dear Lord, that was
but I signed in
before. But.
Oh God, how do I sign out of this thing now? Because I have 2 accounts because I accidentally made one in the company name because I had a brain fart instead of doing mine in my name and my email address. And so every time I go to log on to Crunchyroll, it tries to get me to do that. Okay, why are you not letting me log in? No, I want that one. Show. Okay, can I just hit enter here? No, of course not, because that would be useful. Really? Come on.
Yeah, you got to love that when they design things on non-standard formats.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, Go Loser Ranger. I totally want to start watching that, Crodad. It's in my list. I almost started it like 3 times. I'm glad to hear you loving it. I totally want to watch that.
Okay, go to my watch list and then I can actually tell you what this stuff is that I've been watching here. Okay. So remember I told you about the ludicrous comedy one about the guy who goes to Hogwarts but has no magic powers?
Right.
Yes. So there's a serious version of that this season called Wisteria Wand and Sword. Really good. Really good. So I highly recommend that one. It's only 7 episodes in. A Journey Through Another World, Raising Kids While Adventuring. That was not one that I would have picked for myself, but surprisingly wholesome and very fun. Standard isekai main character has been rezzed with too much power for the world he's in, but also he's given kids.
So debuffs instantly.
Kind of. The awesome newbie adventurer trained to death by the most powerful party became invincible.
When reading the title takes longer than watching an episode.
I know, right? Surprising. I don't want to straight up call it a comedy. It is an action comedy, but it's basically like what happens if a 30-year-old guy who's never adventured joins up with an S rank adventuring party to train him, and he keeps dying, but they keep reviving him until he becomes a god like them. Short form, and then goes back into the world wanting to become an adventurer through the normal means. It's stupid, but it's also very good and fun, and I have enjoyed it.
Dark Souls kind of.
Sort of. A Nobody's Way Up to an Exploration Hero. It's good, but it's one of those, the main protagonist is a teenager and his girlfriend doesn't want him to go into the dungeon, but of course he's addicted to doing the dungeon. So, and then he parties up with a party of girls, so that creates awkward stuff, and it's like good, but I'm like on the edge on that one. It is good though. Of course, that time I got reincarnated as slime. Season 3 still going on, 68 episodes. That is one worth watching if you've never started it. Quality Assurance in Another World. It is an isekai about QA testers getting trapped in a video game world, and it's been entertaining so far. Yeah, Failure Frame. I became the strongest and annihilated everything with low level spells. That's the one like solo leveling.
Okay.
Failure Frame. Just remember that. I every time I look at it, I see Fatal Frame, and then I have to reread it, and it's Failure Frame. I burned through The Strongest Sage with the Weakest Crest. That's only 12 episodes. The New Gate, I think, was, if I'm remembering that one correctly, Newgate. Oh no, Newgate is another MMO based one. It's good. Only 12 episodes. Log Horizon. I have finished 3 seasons of it. That one is like what's the one Ken loves? Sword Art Online, where the people are trapped inside of it.
Okay.
Chilling in Another World with level 2 super cheat powers. That one's okay. I enjoyed it, but it's okay. The one I have really liked is As a Reincarnated Aristocrat. I'll use my appraisal skill to rise in the world. That one's been pretty good, actually. One season, 12 episodes. Remonster is actually an isekai from the monster's point of view. The guy's reincarnated as a goblin and evolves Pokemon style to lead like all the monsters in his area. That's been interesting. Are there any others that I really want to highlight? I don't think so. I think those are the main ones. Yeah, that's it. So, yeah, those have been the ones keeping me busy for right now. Wisteria Wand and Sword, The Strongest Magician is in the Demon Lord's army was a human in a journey through another world, raising kids while adventuring. The awesome newbie adventurer trained to death. A Nobody's Way Up to an Exploration Hero. That time I got reincarnated as slime. QA in Another World. Failure Frame. Those are all the ongoings right now, and they all have like 2 2 to 3 episodes left.
Wow.
That's it. That's all I got to talk about. What about you?
Oh man. Well, I've been reading the Witcher series. The books, the shows and games are based on in one form or another. Finished the first 2 books, which are collections of short stories leading up to the first full novel, which is the 3rd book. So there's 5 novels. 5 novels in the core series. And go ahead.
I'm sorry. Before I forget, on Hulu. Oh crap! I thought I had Hulu on this computer. Hold on. Oh man. What is it? So I know for the future. Oh, okay, it's that one. There was one other one that I really, really, really like. It's on Hulu, and I'm trying to find it right now. I started looking.
Computers have seizures quite frequently these days, it seems.
How do I see my watch?
Yeah, it's usually like the 3rd or 4th one down.
You all.
If you've watched recently.
Oh, Suicide Squad Isekai, by the way. Strong start. I've not gotten past episode 1, but I did watch the first one. Reincarnated as a sword.
Reincarnated as a sword.
12 episodes. Okay. I really like it. And it's definitely different, but it's got a lot of heart, and I really like it. So, yeah, highly recommend that one as well.
Cool.
Sorry.
So yeah, no, that's okay. So if you've watched the Witcher seasons out there, you'll recognize a lot of the stories. They're different, but you'll recognize them easily from the short stories. And then the third book basically is in line pretty much with what happened in the 3rd season to one degree or another, at least as far as I'm halfway through chapter 3. By the way, chapters in this book are like 50 to 60 pages long. So working on that, I'm enjoying it so far. This is my second non-English, not U.S. author, non-English written series, so translated. The last one being the 3-body problem sequence, and then and now this one. So working on that. That's going pretty well. I've been trying to keep up on comic books a little bit. I'm pretty bad. I finally finished the last event on the Marvel side, Blood Hunt. Pretty solid, actually. It's not often they do horror stuff, right? So, it wasn't zombies, right, for a change. So, that was pretty fun. They had some pretty fun side stories in there. The main story was pretty good. Featured heavily with Blade and his daughter. If anyone didn't know yet, Blade has a daughter. And so, yeah, that was pretty fun. If you can pick it up in a trade or I think it's all dropped. It's all dropped, or almost all of it's dropped in Marvel Unlimited, if you have that.
So I saw part of the ending, and I just want to ask a question. Is what she had to do permanent?
Maybe.
Okay. Fair.
As permanent as anything gets in comic books,
right. But I didn't get to see
permanent.
Yeah, I didn't get to see the aftermath, so I didn't know if there was some magic way that resolved where everybody's fine, or if no, she really had to do the thing.
Well, everyone's not fine. And there were definitely deaths in the story that will be dealt with later. But if the thing you think I'm talking about, then that was that activity did not cause the permanent action that you might expect it to have taken.
Oh, okay. That fair. It
was more of a purging.
I see.
Action.
Yeah, I got it. Okay. Because
that did get resolved.
That did not seem like a purging from.
No, it did
that's
not.
why I was asking the question.
Yeah, and the Miles thing is permanent though.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I did.
Yeah,
I did.
Okay, so yeah, the Miles thing is ongoing. Except also
Spider-Man's Venom now?
Yeah, I haven't gotten into the Venom War stuff yet. That's sitting in the stack right there for me to get to this weekend. So, I saw spoilers already, so I'm not
it's
sure
hard
exactly
not
what's going on
it's
there.
Everywhere.
It is. It's blasted. It's so hard. Yeah, when you can't. Well, especially me, I'm a month behind by nature because I don't get my books until a month. So it's just. But yeah, and then so we've got that going on. I did also read a Jeff Lemire series called Fish Flies, which is apparently a Canadian term for mayflies. It was really good. It wasn't like super groundbreaking, and if you've read Lemire stuff before, he's weird, like Sweet Tooth, Descender. He's just kind of a weird dude, right? Or at least what he writes, right? I don't know the guy personally, but it was very weird. It was almost kind of like a long form Twilight Zone episode, kind of ish. It was originally a Substack comic, I guess he did, and then they published it in 7 volumes. So $6 for 7 volumes that were basically 3 issues each. So I enjoyed it. It was fun. I liked it. It wasn't fun. It was
mayflies, by the way, are what the superpowered people in Once Human are called.
Really?
Yeah. Just tying that all together.
Tie that all together there? Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, why not? And let's see, I've been watching the 3rd season of Discovery. I've been liking it more than season 1 or 2. I did like season 2 with the Pike stuff, but it was still, the ending was kind of whatever. I think it being in the environment it's in now, where the characters are and everything, it's finding its legs much better than it did set in the time period where it was initially.
Wait, did you watch Strange New Worlds?
Yes, I did.
All the way through.
Yeah.
What did you think about the crossover episode? Now that you've seen it.
Now that I've seen it, it was fun. I mean, I haven't watched that other show much. I watched like a couple episodes.
Yeah.
But it was fun. It was interesting. It was a mix. It was a, wow, you say it. It was it kind of broke the pacing. It was a distraction episode, right?
Yeah.
But it wasn't a filler episode at the same time, right? So, but it was fun. It was interesting that they actually got, like, again, not spoilering too much. I mean, is it old enough now that it's fine? But
I think
considering the formats, right? The fact that it was the actuals versus stand-ins.
Yeah.
That just, they happen to work, right? It's just like, okay, fine. But no, that was I enjoyed it. I enjoyed that whole season of that show, right?
Me too. What did you think about the musical episode?
Musical episode was done very well. I still, maybe not the best musical episode I've ever seen, but it's up there.
Yeah, no,
top 2 or 3.
Yeah, I think so too.
So yeah, it took a good twist on what's essentially a gimmick, and I don't know if everyone was actually doing their own singing or not, but
apparently
still well done either way.
Apparently so. So this is where I'm going with this. Would you say that Discovery season 3 is better than?
No, it's not better than Strange New Worlds, but it's much higher than season 1 or 2. It's getting to that level. I just don't like the characters in Discovery as much as I like the characters in Strange New Worlds. So that's going to be a hard, gap to bridge. No pun intended.
Bridge to gap.
Gap to bridge.
Energized.
Yeah, whatever. Oh, that is such a cheat. Oh my gosh. Just instant teleportation to anywhere you want.
I mean,
that is such a cheat.
It's like I even in Strange New Worlds, I have to remind myself, wait, this is pre-TOS where they had to use the pads and stuff, and they're being super liberal even now. I'm like, okay, guys, all right.
There's some stuff where it's like, and you're like, well, this could be a different time, and the technology could have developed at a different rate and a different, whatever, blah 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 blah. But I enjoy the actor they brought in for Kirk. I haven't seen him in a long time.
Yeah, I actually liked him a lot. I like the stories of where they're going with that, especially with certain other members of the crew. I really like that. I'm interested to see this season of Strange New Worlds because it's basically supposed to be the friendship between Kirk and Spock starting to form here. So yeah.
And I don't know how they keep finding actors that can do Spock and do it justice, right? I mean, I no disrespect on any actor that would try to take that role on, but that is just a really hard role it feels like to step into, and they've found 2 actors who have really just stepped up and nailed it in different ways.
Yep.
Right. It's just really good. See, we watched both Jack Reacher movies recently, which I'd never seen before. They're basic, simple, fun movies. Nothing special.
Can I make a suggestion?
Yeah.
Now wipe those out of your mind and go watch the Amazon series.
Watch the TV show? Yeah. We started episode 1 of the TV series too. So we haven't gotten any further than episode 1.
I like it much better because it's much more like a detective novel in its format than whereas the Tom Cruise movies are just straight up action movies.
Action movies. Yeah. So, and I think the guy in the TV show looks a lot more like Reacher is supposed to look too. Like he's supposed to be an imposing person, right? And there's something like 25 Reacher novels or some insane number like that. So if anyone wants to go check out the source material, they've got, plenty of source material to check out. Gamefront. I am 103 hours into Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. The tracker says I'm 66% complete. I love this game.
Yeah, I love it every time
but
I play.
I hate this game because I'm never going to finish it. I don't understand. I really don't understand.
I really am sad that I have not made it further in that game. I love the game, but I just cannot bring myself right now, for whatever reason, to play a single player game by myself.
And that's fair. That's fair.
And that's the only reason, because it's not like I have a negative thing to say other than that stupid chocobo running thing that I would have never discovered in a million years, that you had to manually tell me what it was and how to do it. Other than that, I have loved everything about the game. And I want to play it, but just not enough time.
I'm in Cosmo Canyon now. So
nice.
It's got to be getting to the point where we're tying up for this. But it says technically I'm only 66%, so I don't know what to take of that.
That only means you've got a third of the game left.
Yeah, well, every area is 98% side quest and extra stuff and like 2% story mission, right? And it's I could not do it, but I'm never going to replay this game.
Right.
Ever. It's never going to happen. Right. So I've got to do what I'm going to do now, or it'll just never be seen. Right. There's no way I'm platinuming this game. There's just no possible way that's happening. Right.
I mean, it could happen if you're dedicated.
Yeah. If I quit my job, live attached to the TV for the next 3 months, maybe, possibly, but yeah. So it's anyway. But I'm still enjoying it. It's just, oh my god! I finished one playthrough of Stray Gods. It's interesting. I enjoyed it. I'd say it's like 7. Right? It's not what I expected. It's essentially a visual novel that involves singing and Telltale style choices.
Mm-hmm.
I was expecting a little bit more to do. I wasn't expecting full visual novel for some reason, so I was expecting to be able to like walk around and do stuff.
I was fully
literally just a
slideshow,
right?
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting that initially. So, bad on my part. Didn't research enough right before getting it. Still, the cast is great. The music doesn't always hit. There's parts where the what the music is doing and what the people are singing they just don't line up. Like they just don't line up right. I'm not smart enough in music to know exactly what's not right, but there's some stuff that's just not quite right. But I enjoyed it. It was a good story. I do want to play. It's about 3 hours per playthrough. I do want to try and get through a couple more just to see, like, you have 3 emotions you start out with, right? That are going to be your focus through the game. I kind of want to do at least playthroughs where you start with each thing, because it unlocks different conversations, different song options. There's what do you call it? checkpoint decisions.
Mhm.
I don't know what to call it,
Yeah.
but you know, where you either go A or B, right? And you know, it'd be interesting to see the branching,
paths.
right?
Yeah.
Branching points where you know, okay, you did this thing or you did this thing. The only thing I would say is a lot of those decisions you make while you're singing a song, and the options for your selection don't always make it super clear which choice you're trying to select, which was frustrating because I'm like, I really want to do this path. This is my character. And that's the other thing, right? With these games, I've always had a problem with going back and doing it again because I already have my character in my head. You know, this goes all the way back to The Walking Dead 1. By the end of the game, I had my Lee. I couldn't go back and change what I did with Lee because I had my Lee and he wouldn't do these things this way, right? So it won't be as hard because you're putting a lot less time in with this character. It's only a 3-hour game, right? You know, so you didn't quite develop the same relationship with the character. But again, it's not Ashley Birch. It's the other one I always get mixed up with Ashley Birch. Laura Bailey. Why do I always get those two mixed up? I don't understand. Laura Bailey and Troy Baker are the two like big ones in there for me. And Troy just, you know, that dude can do nothing wrong. I swear to God, he can't do anything wrong. I don't understand, but amazing guy. At least he's super talented. I've never met the individual, but I mean, geez Louise. So yeah, let's see. Third game, believe it or not, the game I've probably put the most time into aside from Final Fantasy, Halo Infinite.
Who are you?
I don't know. This is my home now. We're in my home right now.
Great. Are you ready to play once human?
Not yet. No.
Well, you can't because you got to wait like 4 weeks till ours.
Yeah, exactly. Before the servers are said, but yeah, no, it's Halo Infinite. I'm totally lost story wise because they just drop you into the middle of an ongoing story, and I have no idea what's going on. I'm just here shoot people thing, right? Or not people, monster, aliens. That's what they are. So you know, I'm running around. I'm Master Chief. This one's open world. I wasn't expecting that, but it's basically like a Far Cry, right? You know, it's this giant open world on one of the ring things, and you've got this grapple hook thing in your gauntlet, and I'm just grapple hooking all over the place, Skyrimming my way around this terrain and stuff. Some of the things I think I'm supposed to know how to do because I'm supposed to have played other Halo games, like how to deal with certain kinds of enemies or how to deal with certain kind of vehicles are frustrating for me because I don't know what to do, and I try all these things and nothing's working. Like this evening, this tank I'd never run into before, and I'm like, okay, it hits me once, and I go ragdolling halfway across the freaking map, and I'm just like, I'm supposed to do this thing. You know, 47 deaths later, I finally beat it, and you know, move on with life. But
get good noob.
Yeah, I know. But you know, it's an FPS, so the fact that I'm playing it is a miracle, much less that I'm doing any good at it. So yeah, but I'm enjoying it. I wish I knew more of the story. I'm actually kind of tempted to go back a couple of games now and see if I can get the rest of it. But,
well, I mean, that's cool if you do that, but all you really need to watch is Red versus Blue. You'll get enough of the story. It's fine.
I'm tempted to watch the show now too, just to be like, okay, how does it connect in at all? I don't know, but I think if I do that, then at least I don't need to play Halo Reach, right? Because I think that's kind of the time period the show starts out in, is the Halo Reach period, I think. But because Reach is technically a prequel, right?
I did Halo 2, Halo 3, and then I was out.
So I think Reach is a prequel to Halo, I think. But anyway, yeah, it's been oddly fun. So it's actually just something I was looking for, since I kind of tuckered out on Vampire Survivors and I didn't want to buy the next DLC yet. I was looking for something else to do my achievements thing so I can earn my free month of Game Pass every 3 months. And that just kind of was the thing I started playing to do that, and it just kind of got enjoyable. So, but yeah, that's the big gaming things I've been doing. Mitchell's been playing Ender Lilies, so I've been seeing a fair bit of that. I want to get to that eventually. That was on this last month's Plus catalog. I think I'm going to try and do the not Telltale Star Trek game. Was it Star Trek not Insurrection? That's a movie.
I have it too, and I have not touched it.
But I think that's one of the next ones I'm going to try to eat into when I've got, some if I decide to either do another playthrough of Stray Gods or not, you know, that'll be the next one to fill the gap where I would play that kind of game. Otherwise, I'm trying to think of. I haven't really. We've seen some movies. Oh, Godzilla Minus One. Godzilla Minus One is amazing.
That's what I've heard.
Amazing movie. You should totally watch it. Yeah, it's an amazing movie. The stuff they did in there, FX wise, the story. You know, as a Japanese Godzilla movie, it's not really about the monsters, right? So, you know, that's it was refreshing. It was nice. Haven't seen the second Kong Godzilla movie yet, so I don't know how that one turned out.
They're doing.
What did I watch in the
Takara Transformers crossovers? They
I saw
announced.
that. Yeah, I saw those. Those are
Godzilla
insane.
Optimus Prime. That's all you really have to say.
Yes, exactly. Boy Kills World. Is that Boy Murders World? Boy something. It's a really weird Bill Skarsgård movie.
Yeah.
But that was fun. I enjoyed it. It's nothing great, but good
Bill's
action.
not the one that did it, right?
No, I thought it was. No, it's
Tom.
the other one. It's the other one. Is it Tom? Is that his name?
Or
I think it's the other one.
It's not the main Skarsgård. It's not True Blood Skarsgård.
No, not that one. No.
Okay. Yes.
It's the younger one.
Yeah. So what did you like? I mean, what did you think of that movie?
I enjoyed it. It was very kind of noir comic story, right? You know, that it felt like some kind of like, you know, comic that was in the back of the comic shop that you weren't ever supposed to see kind of thing. A touch of kind of anime-esqueness to it. Yeah, unfortunately, the new Crow movie is not sounding good at all. But it was Bill in it. Okay, so it was the same guy. Really good action scenes. You know, just the kind of the cluelessness of the main character, right, was just good. I wish I could say I would have caught the twist sooner, because I should have caught the twist sooner, but I was watching it on a plane, so I'm going to use that as an excuse. But yeah, that was a fun. I enjoyed it. I thought the action was good. I thought the comedy in it was good. The guy whose lips he couldn't read was hilarious. The fact that guy had to actually say those lines and not bust a gut laughing every time was hilarious. But yeah. And the ending really sold it for me. I was kind of iffy on it until the ending locked in, and then I was like, "Yep, nope, that was a fun ride. I enjoyed that. That was."
Was the first Bill and Ted for me.
Yeah,
like it wasn't until the ending, and then my mind was blown, and I'm like, "Oh my god, this is actually like a really good movie when you frame it in that perspective."
Yeah, and I think that is a masterful stroke. If you can do that, if you can in the last 5 minutes of a movie just cinch it and like, holy crap, no, that really works. You know, that's a masterful stroke, I think. So I never did go back and look at like who the action director or any of the writer and anything and what it was, so I should go back and check that out. But yeah, so that was another good thing I saw recently. Trying to think. That's pretty much it. I haven't watched any anime this season at all. I need to. Have we talked about Kaiju number 8 when we talked last, or had we not talked about that yet?
I've avoided it. I know
you avoided it.
I know a lot of people like it, and I think the concept's okay. I just have had like zero desire to watch it for whatever reason.
I get it, but it is good. It is really good. It's a high quality production. It's got the 30-something-year-old main character, right, instead of the kids. So, you know, that's just mix it up a little bit there. So that's solid. But just the way they go with the plot and everything, I'm really excited to learn what's going on with this world, right? Because there's stuff going on, right? There's something afoot at the Circle K to tie back to something else, and we just don't know what yet.
I think what it is the more I watch anime, the more I realize I want fantasy escapism and not stress. And I know that
Kaiju number 8 will give you a bit of
right.
stress.
That's what I'm saying. I read the description. And I'm like, no, he's going to have to juggle that. And I don't think that's going to go well for him. And yeah, so
it's one of the more humorous parts for most of the season. Actually is that part. It's kind of like, I think of it as kind of JJK light, whereas JJK is just stress and angst and pain everywhere, right? This is kind of like the light version of that. This is like the teen novel version of that, right? So it's not that level, but it's on that level of good.
And before anybody calls me hypocritical for liking the one that I was saying that was super dark, where with the goddess and that's
right.
different. That's different. That's like survival stress, not real world social stress. I don't know. There's a line. No, I don't know how to explain that. But
no, I get that. I can see that. There's different kinds of stressors, and they can have different triggers for you, right? But yeah, no, I really enjoyed Kaiju number 8. I'm not looking forward to waiting for another season of that. And I know nobody else cares except for Keegan, but we finally got news on another season of Tokyo Revengers. I was so stressing out that wasn't going to come back, and it's coming back. So thank goodness.
I know.
Like I said,
I get it. I get why you like it. I just can't turn my brain off.
Yeah, and that's fair. Did
you watch that Genie thing? Did you watch that Genie thing I posted?
Yeah.
That's literally when I'm watching anime, it's the exact same thing. Okay, if I was the main character, what choice branch tree would I make? And I'm doing the flowchart constantly. It's like, oh, I know what you're talking about, Crodad. Yes, it is like, we have talked about it before on the show. It is like the most non-fun anime ever made. And literally, like, I think I cried in like 4 episodes of the first season. What the hell is the name of it now? In fact,
To Your Eternity?
Yeah, To Your Eternity. And I think it might have new episodes coming soon, actually. I think the new season is coming pretty quick.
I still haven't watched that one either. I need to. That one's in the backlog.
I got to say, like, that is one that I should not like, but I really do. Because it is like, it's heavy, dude. It's like the first full season and a half, I would say, is like some of the heaviest anime stuff I've ever seen. I would say Frieren is the closest thing, but Frieren's very different. Like, it's the closest that's captured that vibe, I think, or that feel. But this is much more like, good God, man, they're trying to rip your heart out of their chest, and it's working, and it's really bad.
Oof.
But then the funny part is later it gets much lighter. Like, the stakes are still serious, but overall, I would say tonally it gets much lighter. But that first season, that first like half to 3/4 of a season, just woof.
Just bang, 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 bang,
and
bang.
it's also very slow. It's very, very slow. It's very slow and intimate, I think, is the best way to say that, for the first main section of season 1. And then when they get into season 2, there's more characters, so it's not as intimate. And it starts to expand his worldview, to expand the main character's worldview, etc. So it does get much lighter in that regards. Not that the stakes have gotten any less serious.
Right. So, it's just the way they're dealing with it isn't quite so.
But I mean, the main character's not isolated, basically, is the short form, and develops social connections and all that type of stuff. So yeah, I'm really interested to see what they do with that, because where that left off, where that left off makes it look like this is going to be super interesting when they pick up with the next season.
And see, I think it's the opposite thing of that I like about Tokyo Revengers, because it seems light and then they just gut punch you out of nowhere, right? And then they go back to, okay, they recover out of that. It seems like it's kind of light again, and then they just gut punch you again right out of nowhere, right? I think that's the thing about Tokyo Revengers that really gets me, right? Is
he's such a brainless idiot. I can't
he
stand
is.
him. I can't stand him.
He does grow. It doesn't show you how he's growing, right? It doesn't explain to you how he's growing as a character. You have to put it together on your own. And I'm not saying you're being lazy or anything or not. It's just, it's not obvious at first. And I had to think about it for a while. It's like, is this character growing? Is he actually doing anything? And once you think about it, you have to take his entire life into account.
Right.
And then you figure out, oh, shoot, okay, this is how this character is progressing, even though he's a 20-something acting like a 12-year-old, right? You know, this is how he is changing his life. He's just doing it asynchronously, which is really weird, but you know, and it works for me. I get that there are a lot of people that don't like it. Hulu dropped it. That's why, you know, it took so long to find out that it was getting another season, because somebody else had to pick it up, right? So obviously it wasn't doing well for them.
Right.
And, you know, it sucks that they have to try to do the real-time editing to get the manji symbol out of things, and they sometimes don't do it really great, and so it ruins some of the visual shots, because you've got these things where they've cut the frames in weird way, or these giant splotches in the middle of the screen because they're editing out the manji. The manji symbol, if you don't know, go look at a map of Japan in Google Maps and see the symbol where all the temples are. It looks very similar to a symbol from a certain war that a lot of people wouldn't get the differentiation of, so they decided they had to edit it out of the international release of the show. If you go by the manga, and it's there. There's even a statement in the first volume about why it's there and everything. But yeah, it's I've watched some of the stuff where it's not. There's some things like that are just changed. That it's shocking how different they had to cut it and frame it and stuff to. There's like entire sections that are supposed to be moving and they're just still framed because there was no way they could edit it out of the shot. So they just run the audio over a still frame. And you're like, well, that was weird.
Most of them do today, anyways, all the time.
Yeah.
Surprise.
Yeah. Which I mean, that's an anime thing, right? Anime was designed to be produced cheaply, so change as little as possible, and so it's but yeah, no, it's anyway, that's enough about that. Otherwise, no, I mean, the world, we have too many games, right? I mean, this is actually getting to the point where it's a problem, right? I mean, this is why we've got all of these these downsizings and stuff. It's like there's too much content out there, and half of it wants you to perpetually live with it, like Once Human or Fortnite or anything like that. They want you to live constantly with this thing and be constantly interacting with it, and there just aren't enough people. There just aren't enough consumers to hold up this model that we've built. Like, there's a Star Wars game that came out, and I didn't get it day one, even if it's getting middling reviews. This is me we're talking about.
I'm actually surprised about that.
It's just like, there's just too much stuff out there, and there's too much life, but that's another problem. So, yeah, that's enough of that. That was a little too depressing, but yeah. So no, otherwise it's been good. There's been a lot of stuff going on. It's been a good time for it's been a good time for content creators, and it's been time for content consumers. And I'll admit, I've not been much on the creator side. You guys haven't seen me much around, right? I've been kind of on lockdown a little bit, right? So,
by the way, I watched wrestling also.
Well, that's just a given,
yeah,
right? I mean,
All In was great. We just did that this Sunday. Everybody had a great time. Tiny was yelling at the screen. My wife was yelling at the screen. I think Crow was yelling at the screen. It was great. Christian Cage is the best. That's all I have to say. Best heel ever. So yeah, wrestling's been fun and good. And that's it. That's all I got. I think that's, unless you've got anything else.
I know not a lot of people here care, but football next week starts. So that's when I start talking and you start falling asleep, right?
You're absolutely right.
But the thing is,
that's
both
good.
Dave and my first season opener is it's our teams.
Oh, nice.
So we're going to be,
It's the Green Bay Packers and the New England Patriots?
Philadelphia Eagles.
Oh, well, I was in that general area of the country.
Yeah, because he grew up in Philly, right?
Right.
So, and they're playing in Rio, or not Rio. It's not Rio. It's Brazil, but it's not Rio. It's Sao Paulo.
Yeah.
Sao Paulo. Yeah.
Yeah, and they can't wear their colors
because their soccer rivals' colors are green, and it's like
okay.
Right. You said two teams whose primary color are green to a city that has a hatred of the color green because their soccer rivals' main color is green.
Right.
I think the other soccer team is green and yellow, actually, which makes the Packers. You're totally screwed.
It's Parmalat. Parmalat is the team. Which, if you don't know, Parmalat is a milk. I'm not joking.
That makes sense with the name, actually. But
Parmalat milk and they are green and yellow. I know this because I was forced to watch all the Parmalat games because all of my friends loved Parmalat, even though they were from Sao Paulo.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
But so that's coming up. So that's exciting to get that back in. That means fall, man. The weather's been a lot more temperate lately. It's getting dark by 8:00. I mean, it's coming, man. It's winter is coming, and
crazy.
Fortunately for us, like the Game of Worlds world or Game of Thrones world, we know when winter's coming. It's rather predictable.
Yeah, pretty much.
I've pretty much given up on Lego. At this point, it has become an elitist hobby at this point because every set is so freaking expensive.
Now you know how I felt about it from the beginning.
Oh yeah, no, you're not wrong. It's just it's a whole nother tier of what the heck at this point.
Yeah. Well,
should we call it?
I think so. You have any final thoughts?
Dang, I should have been thinking about that. I'm tentatively excited about what Marvel has on the docket coming up for films. I'm tentatively excited about what DC has on the docket coming up for films, and that's a strange feeling for me. I did watch Blue Beetle, by the way, and Blue Beetle gets the short stick. That was actually a pretty solid movie.
Oh, you liked it?
It wasn't great.
I mean, I haven't watched it, so I can't really judge. I just, I don't know.
It's the most Marvel-like of their movies, in my opinion, right? I mean, so I guess that helps for me, and not to mention, I actually like the kid that he's from Cobra Kai, right? I kind of like that kid, so that helps, I guess. But no, I enjoyed it. It wasn't perfect, but I enjoyed it. Also, the resolution of this current DC event where they have their version of the Ultimate Universe. I might actually be buying DC Comics for the first time.
Listen, man, I prefer DC Comics to Marvel Comics, and we've had this discussion for a long time. So I'm really interested in the series they're doing right now, the Absolute Power stuff. That seems super interesting to me.
I'm going to probably pick up a trade of that once that's done.
I think I would like to as well.
I don't know.
So my final thoughts are going to be coming up October. We should have One Punch Man season 3, so I'm quite looking forward to that.
Did not like season 2, so I'm hoping season 3 picks
really
up. Yeah,
I get it.
Didn't hit for me the same way.
I'll just leave us then with the sage piece of wisdom to carry us over till the next time we have a podcast.
So are we committing to anything here, or are we just gonna let it be free form?
I told my wife she should embrace her mistakes. She gave me a hug.
Is that the joke or is that a true story?
No, that's
because I
the
can
joke.
see it going either way.
Yeah,
Okay, I can see that.
that's why I thought it was a good one because I'm like that could be a real thing.
Or a
yeah,
joke?
that could be a
Because
real
it
thing.
can go either way.
Yep. So we're gonna raid out to Malo Boy. He's a good friend of the channel. Make sure that you holler at him. Just let him know you're there with an emote or something. He's playing some Dad Bod Daylight. So we're going to head over that way. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. We'll be back probably tomorrow at some point with some Once Human. I don't know when. Those are bonus streams anyway, so I'll try and give some heads up on the stuff. So, yeah, that's it. And until next time, as always, be excellent to each other. And, of course, game on.
Game on.
In 8 seconds.
7.
5. 3. 2. Bye, everybody.
All right.